Welcome to What the Tech. We're the show that cuts right through all the hype to bring you the tech news you can actually use. All right, let's get right into it because this one's a real head scratcher. So you've got two tech giants, right? Meta and Microsoft. Both come out and say, hey, we're spending billions on AI. And you'd think Wall Street would be throwing a party, right? Nope. For one, the stock soared. For the other, it got absolutely hammered. So what gives? And that really gets to the heart of the matter. See, the old playbook of just, throwing money at the future and getting a pat on the back, that's over. Investors are looking at this with a whole new set of glasses on, and it really comes down to one thing. Is this spending a straight line to predictable profit, or is it just a giant risky gamble with no clear finish line? I mean, look at this. The difference is just night and day. Meta says AI spending, and boom, the stock shoots up. Microsoft says the exact same thing, and it triggers one of its worst sell-offs in a long, long time. And the whole reason for this crazy split decision? It's all about what they do. Meta is an ad machine. Microsoft sells software. And in today's market, that single difference is everything. Okay, so let's talk about Meta. For them, the math is super simple for Wall Street. They spend on AI. That AI gets better at knowing what you want to see. Right? It makes the recommendation engine smarter. That means you keep scrolling, and we all know what more scrolling means. More engagement. And more engagement means, you guessed it, more chances to show you ads. It's a straight shot. AI spending equals more ad money. Easy. But then you flip over to Microsoft, and the picture gets, it gets fuzzy. Really fuzzy. Sure, their cloud business was growing, which is great. But, and this is the key part, the company itself admitted that most of that growth was coming from old school, non-AI stuff. And for an investor, that's a huge red flag. It's like, wait a minute, you're spending a fortune on AI, but the money's coming from everywhere else? That disconnect, that uncertainty, that's what totally spooked the market. So how do we make sense of these completely wild swings? We've got to peek behind the curtain and look at the new math investors are using. This isn't just a small tweak. It's a fundamental shift in how they figure out what these massive companies are actually worth now that AI is in the picture. Okay, so here's the key concept, and it's called terminal value. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Imagine you're trying to figure out how much a company is worth. You can probably make a decent guess about its profits for the next, say, 5 years. But what about year 6, year 10, year 20? All of that future potential, everything beyond your immediate forecast, that's the terminal value. And for these big tech companies, that chunk of the pie is huge. It's basically Wall Street's bet on how big they'll be forever. So this is how AI totally changes the equation. Investors are now looking at any new AI spending and asking a really simple but brutal question. Does this investment make that long-term terminal value bigger, making the company stronger for years to come? Or, and here's the scary part, does it actually threaten to eat away at the core business, making the company worth less down the road? And that fear, it is dialed up to 11 for software companies. Get this, one Bloomberg analyst said investor feeling on software is so bad, the sector is considered extremely radioactive. Whoa, why? Well, the big fear is that AI could just learn to do what the software does. If that happens, whole product lines could become obsolete practically overnight. And if your core product gets replaced by AI, that terminal value we talked about, it doesn't just take a hit, it plummets. Hey, by the way, if you're getting something out of this breakdown, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe to What the Tech so you don't miss our next deep dive. We love cutting through the noise for you. Also, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about all this. Okay, so let's turn this into something really practical. How does this new thinking actually translate into action? Well, it's created a kind of checklist investors are using. Because believe me, the days of a CEO just saying, trust me, AI is the future, are long gone. Now they want to see the receipts. And here it is, this is the real news you can use. Investors aren't falling for the hype anymore. They're looking for cold, hard facts. They're tracking very specific things, like show me the revenue that is directly from AI. What are the actual profit margins on these new AI tools? Are real customers actually using this stuff? And the big one, give me a clear, believable timeline for when all this spending is actually going to start making real money. And that 65% jump in Microsoft spending, that's the perfect example. When a number that huge hits the report, it's like an alarm bell goes off for investors. It's not just a number, it's a demand. It's a flashing red light that says, okay, prove it. Show us exactly how you're going to turn this mountain of cash into an even bigger mountain of profit. And do it now. So where does all this leave us? What does it mean for how these companies have to operate now? Well, it means the old playbook is out the window. A new one is being written as we speak, with a whole new set of rules for how to win in the age of AI.
And really, the big takeaway is that there are now two very different playbooks, depending on your business. If you're an ad company like Meta, your job is simple. Prove that AI helps you squeeze more money out of the ads you're already showing. But if you're a software company like Microsoft, your task is completely different. You have to convince everyone that your AI is a helpful sidekick, that it makes your main products better, and not the hero that's going to replace them. Every dollar you spend on AI has to be tied directly to making your existing stuff more valuable.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The AI hype train has left the station. The party's over. The market doesn't care how many billions you're spending anymore. What they want is a clear, measurable, honest-to-goodness path from that spending to actual cash in the bank. The new mantra is, show me the money. Or at the very least, show me a map that I actually believe leads to it. So, from now on, whenever you see one of those splashy headlines about some tech giant spending $1 gazillion on AI, you'll know what's really going on. You'll have the tools to look right past the hype and ask the right question. Is this a smart, confident investment in the future? Or is it a panicked, desperate move to not get left behind? Now you've got the framework to figure it out for yourself.